5 years ago yesterday, I was diagnosed with HIV. I was 18 years old. I had just started culinary art school. I had a phone call from the health department asking me to come in. So we went through the screening process, and after, she said, I have some bad news for you, but you're HIV positive. And I broke down into tears, and I just looked out the window, and I wanted to jump out of the window at that point.
It actually started about 2 years before I got diagnosed, and I had gone from 240 pounds to 110. I was in intensive care for 3 days, and then I went into the main hospital and they tested me. The doctor came back, he told me, "You're positive for HIV." And I looked at him and I said, "I have HIV?" He goes, "Yes." And then he left the room, and so I cried.
I got real sick. I was getting really sick. I was going down. I really didn't know it. And then I went back to the emergency room. The doctor, he asked me, he said, have you ever had an HIV test? I said, yes, it's been a while back. And then he said, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you you're HIV positive. Oh man, when he said that, it was like a dark cloud just came over me.
I had told my mom that I was HIV positive the moment I found out, and she broke out into tears. It was like you were watching your mom cry at your own funeral. That night I was going to actually commit suicide. I couldn't take that pain no more. I couldn't do it.
I told my son I don't want to talk to anybody. And he kept asking me, "Mom, what's wrong?" So finally one day I brought him up into the bedroom and I told him, I said, "I've got something really hard to tell you." And so I told him, and he ran out of the room crying. And I told him, "Just want you to know, I know it's scary to you, but it's gonna be okay."
The guy that I was dating at that point, I was gone and being honest up front with him, and that stigma right there was the most terrifying thing I've ever had to go through. I told him that I was positive, and he freaks out. He didn't want to hug me. He threatened to put a restraining order on me. It hurt my feelings a lot.
First, I need to call all my family in. I need to tell them what's going on. So I called them all up and I said, I got everybody here. I need to really tell y'all something. I said, I'm HIV positive like that. And then the first thing they said, what do we need to do? And it just made my heart, you just don't know how that made me feel, because I didn't know how they would react to something like that.
HIV affected my depression. It more so affected me mentally and emotionally more than physically. Why me? And why did I have to go through this? So that's why I sought out for counseling.
I didn't have nowhere else to turn. And I remember a lady coming to my hospital room and told me if I ever needed any assistance that, Nashville Cares is the place to come.
When I first walked into Nashville Cares, I was actually nervous. What are my friends gonna think? What if I bump into someone that I know in here? As time went on and I realized that they actually cared about us, it was like, you know what? Things happen, I'm human. If they find out, they find out.
When I came to Nashville Cares, they taught me everything. Nashville Cares helped me with the meds, paying some bills for me, gave me wonderful counseling. I met the most wonderful people I've ever known in my life. And you know what? They made me realize that it's okay.
Nashville Cares helped me understand HIV. They made me feel welcome, and they made me feel like it was okay. And the moment that I felt like I was okay, my ears opened and I was ready to listen. So they started educating me, small classes, showing me that HIV is not as bad as the stigma makes it seem.
Yeah, the Choice Pantry, that's been a great help to me. Like my mother, she's an elderly woman. She's on a fixed income, and she can't afford to take care of me like that. But when I come here to get the Choice Pantry, that helps out a whole lot.
I've always said in my dreams, if I ever won money or got a bunch of money, that I would donate a huge portion to Nashville Cares, because There's no way I could ever repay them back for everything they've done for me.
Nashville Cares is my family, and I think they would probably have to drag me out of here if anybody told me that I couldn't come here anymore. That's how much this place means to me.
Nashville Cares has really made sure that you are just as comfortable as you can be inside the building. It also made me feel like you're not alone. We're all in this together.
Nashville Cares has inspired me to not be ashamed, not be afraid, be the same person I was before. I kind of lost that for a while, but after I started coming here and met so many great people, it just bounced me back, and now I'm back to the old Debbie.
I wouldn't be nowhere near who I am today if it wasn't for Nashville Cares. So I just want to thank them so much.
Nashville Care has brought me a long way in a short length of time. I feel great. I feel like I can fight hell with a water pistol.